Tesla's Robotaxi program continues to receive updates, with the latest update being that anyone in the United States with an iPhone can download the Robotaxi app. Robotaxi first launched back in June to just a few people who were able to download the app and use the service in Austin, Texas. But since then, the expansion has continued and at a pace that actually has surprised me. Now, these updates we're talking about today, there are several steps forward, but also a couple of steps back or sideways. But either way, Robotaxi is enhancing, it is changing, it is getting better over time. And it looks like Tesla is really trying to reach that goal of covering 50% of the population of the United States with Robotaxi availability by the end of the year. So Tesla's Robotaxi app is now publicly available to download. I will leave the link down below in the description. For now, unfortunately, you do have to have an iPhone, and of course, it's in the United States only, which makes sense because Robotaxi is only functioning in a couple small areas of the United States. Now, I use an Android phone, so of course, this is a bit disappointing to me, although I'm sure most Android people are used to this kind of stuff by now. But what's even funnier is Tesla didn't even say the Android app is coming soon. They said the Android app is coming in the future, which to me sounds awful. I mean, the future is tomorrow, but the future is also 100 years from now. So it's not even coming soon. It's just, some point after now, the Android app will exist. Now, Android users, don't worry too much because downloading the Robotaxi app in the Apple App Store doesn't mean you just get to load it up and hail a Robotaxi. Nope, you can sign up for the waitlist to be able to use the Robotaxi. Now, this app does need to be released if Tesla wants to cover 50% of the United States population within the next 3 months. That seems kind of crazy, although the expansions in Austin have been consistent with the area growing larger and larger. And check out this map that somebody shared with me. If Tesla wants to cover 50% of the population of the United States, which is the way that they phrased it, you actually don't have to be in that many areas in the country overall. Of course, the US is huge and most of the population is concentrated in smaller areas. So this does seem a lot more possible when you look at the map like this. At the same time, it doesn't mean there's going to be a million Robotaxis on the road and anyone in these areas can just grab one whenever they want. It means the service area will be there. So Tesla could keep it a limited amount of people that can use it. They could keep a limited amount of vehicles. So there's a lot of ways that Tesla could technically reach this goal of covering 50% of the population while not having like a fully fledged out, widely available Robotaxi service. Now, initial signups, people seem to be having problems with the app. They're getting a lot of errors when they're trying to join the waitlist. It is working for some people, but I know even back in June when I went and there were only like 10 or 15 of us trying to use this service, we had some issues in the first few hours. Tesla actually had to delay the initial launch for a few hours. And even when the app was live, there was like a couple of minutes where it was like kind of weird and not working that well. I'm sure they'll work out the bugs. Again, it's just like a wait list, so it's not like you're missing out on anything too crazy. And in the areas in Texas and California where Robotaxi has been available for a little bit now, Tesla has been adding people over time. Especially it seems like if you ask over on X, if the right person sees it, you just end up with an invite in your email and you can use the Robotaxi service at that point forward whenever you want. But once you download the app and it's working, there's no more errors. All you have to do is sign in with your Tesla account and then you can join the waitlist. Now, I think all of this will go relatively quickly. I don't think Tesla's going to roll out this app for everyone to just wait forever and not be able to use it, but they need more Robotaxis on the road as well, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. Now, on top of this app being released to the public, if you're using an iPhone and in the United States, the Robotaxi also got some new DLC experiencing a map expansion in Austin, Texas. Now, the area in Austin, Texas has been growing consistently, and it is so much larger than the initial rollout, and it is now so much larger even than Waymo's service area. Now, an exciting piece of this expansion is that the Robotaxi will now drive on highways, whereas before in Austin, the Robotaxi was sticking to roads that were 45 miles per hour or less, according to Tesla. Now, part of the step back here is that anytime the Robotaxi is going to take a highway, the safety passenger is actually going to move into the driver's seat. They are still not driving. They're still not going to interact with the car, of course, unless there's an emergency or something. But out of an abundance of caution, according to Tesla, the safety passenger will be in the driver's seat, monitoring the vehicle from that position if there's a highway on the route. If there is no highway on the route coming up, the person moves back to the passenger seat and there is nobody in the driver's seat. Now, what's interesting about this is in Tesla's Robotaxi app, if you do download it, you can find where Tesla actually says when nobody is in the driver's seat, the vehicle is fully autonomous. This is one of the first and only times we've seen Tesla talk about their vehicles being autonomous. When you talk about full self-driving supervised, Tesla is very careful to remind people over and over again, the vehicle is not autonomous. You're in full control. It is driver assist. Well, now that we're moving into Robotaxi area and there's actually nobody in the driver's seat, I get the person in the passenger seat is a bummer, don't get me wrong, but with nobody in the driver's seat, it is still really impressive, and it shows that the vehicle is actually autonomous. Tesla is putting themselves under regulatory scrutiny and liability, of course, because this is their service, this is their vehicle, and with no one in the driver's seat, they are saying this is autonomous. So it's great to see Tesla themselves finally say it. Now, on top of service area expansion, letting you use the app, we need more robotaxis. As the service area in Austin expanded and as more people were using the service, people were finding longer and longer wait times because either the few amount of robotaxis were far away or there were too many people using the service all at the same time. Now, the Robotaxi account over on X did confirm there has been a 50% increase in the amount of robotaxis with this latest map expansion. And while that sounds great, we don't have an official number of how many robotaxis there were before this 50% increase. Now, it was being tracked online, and it seems like it most likely was about 11 robotaxis. So if that was the case and we had a 50% increase from there, we're looking at about 15 or 16 total robotaxis in Austin, Texas. It is a bit slow on that part of the expansion, in my opinion, but again, if you have the safety passenger, it's going to be harder or more cumbersome to scale this platform than when you take that person out. When is that going to happen? I don't know. I hope it's soon. I hope by the end of the year, Tesla doesn't have to have the safety passenger, at least in Austin, Texas. But at this point, it's really anyone's guess as to when that's going to happen. So moving from 11 to like 15 robotaxis is not that great of an increase, but it is a 50% increase if so. So, one way you look at it, it is good. The other way, it's a little bit underwhelming. On top of that, people online were quick to point out that Waymo does not allow customers to be in their vehicles when they are on the highway. So Waymo is testing highway driving. They do have employees in the vehicle the same way that the Tesla Robotaxi does, but they will not allow passengers into the Waymo vehicles, at least as of now, when they're on the highway. So this is something that Tesla is doing differently and slightly better, if you want to look at it that way, than Waymo in allowing passengers to be in the Robotaxi when it's on the highway. Of course, there is an employee in the driver's seat ready to take over, but the vehicle is doing all the driving, and I'm sure if anything weird happens or there is a takeover with the safety passenger while Robotaxi is on the highway, we'll see the video pretty quickly. Robotaxi is taking user feedback into consideration to make the app and the whole experience better. The latest update enables you to add a new stop to the end of your ride. This is great if you change your mind or you're meeting someone and they want to meet somewhere else when you're already on the way. These little improvements show that Tesla is taking feedback into consideration, and even though it's not a major change to the platform, it does make the experience better overall. For me personally, the safety passenger situation is not that big of a deal. If nobody is in the driver's seat, I'm impressed by what's happening here. Of course, it will be much more impressive once there is no employee in the car, and it'll be a better experience overall as well. Now, over in California, there hasn't really been much change. It is a very large service area they have over there, but the safety passenger is actually in the driver's seat, so it's like a safety monitor, safety driver, but they're not driving, but they will if they have to. Again, Tesla has said this is due to regulatory restraints, and they have to have a person in the driver's seat, at least for this initial part of the rollout. But nonetheless, it makes the service look not nearly as impressive as it does in Austin when you actually have nobody in the driver's seat. But despite this, having used the Robotaxi service right away in the first couple of days that it was available, the service overall, even back then before the expanded map, before all the polish they've added, the improvements to the app, the more functionality you get out of everything, the service was great. Being able to call the Tesla to you that will arrive within 10 minutes at any point, that was then synced to your Tesla profile. So your music, your videos, everything was ready to play. The air conditioning was available. You could control everything from the app before the vehicle even arrived. The service overall was awesome, and I really enjoyed it. If this was something available in my local area, I would definitely be using it. Let's put it this way. If I go to Austin, Texas right now, I'm not going to be using Lyft, which is the service I normally use. I'm going to use the Robotaxi app. Yes, there is somebody in the driver's seat, and the overall goal of autonomy and Tesla, making robotaxis to send out millions of driverless vehicles all over the place is still not here, but the service does exist, and it is a great experience for the customer, for the end user. Will it improve when there is no employee in the vehicle? Yeah, of course, but as it is today, it is a comfortable, convenient, fast, and low-cost service that I would prefer to use over other options. Let me know your thoughts down below. People have pretty strong opinions when it comes to that safety passenger and everything going on with Robotaxi right now. Again, I think if you look like a year from now or 2 years from now, whenever that's all done, it's not going to matter. It's like, oh man, at this point, we really want them gone. But once they're gone, that's it. It's done. And nobody's really going to think about this time in history anymore or care. It's just going to be like, yo, we have Robotaxis now.